Hello traders, welcome to another crypto market update. We'll be mainly talking about altcoins, BTC, the BTC dominance chart, all that. Not really going to be looking at the S&P or any of the other more traditional legacy assets. But first off, we just want to get a good understanding of what we've been talking about since kind of like the last few weeks or the last handful of weeks here. And this is the potential reverse head and shoulders that we're going to be seeing a recovery on, which in my opinion is currently breaking out as we speak right now. We did see a similar sort of breakout back in the very early March of this year, where we saw a descending wedge. We saw a right shoulder get formed, which is a little bit worrying for the descending wedge. But then we did create that reverse head and shoulders and made that strong push to the upside, continuing the bullish momentum and trend. And in my opinion, we do see something similar occur, and this actually is taken from this zone right here. We're just copying and putting it right here. We can see the similarities where we saw a descending zone creating a squeeze and a contraction in the volatility. You saw a zone where there was not a lot of volatility, which is a great potential base, which we saw right here on like the 50K area. And then this is the right shoulder that we were looking for at around 52K, and it does look like it's finally breaking now. So in my opinion, this is where a lot of bears may be kind of at a point where they're getting a lot of kind of not hesitancy, but getting a lot of confidence taken out of their trade, in my opinion, because as of right now, if you are looking for short opportunities, let's just quickly get the snip and then discuss the, I guess, fear or the bear's perspective, which would be this major zone. We see support, support, and then you see that it was a major zone of sensitivity in the prior price action. And then you saw a rejection with this nice retest before the second push to the downside. And then we see it's past this level. We see the candle has closed. It's now trading above that range for a longer duration than a full day. So it's great to see. And then this is the left shoulder. This is the right shoulder. Hopefully you're able to identify this head and shoulders. So that's going to be the overall perspective that we're going to be looking at. And this is the wedge that we broke out of, this nice wedge right there where we saw rejection, 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 nice level of support, and then you saw the key level of resistance. So in my opinion, we are looking like we're going to come back to this zone because, like I said, as a short seller, you see lots of hesitancy at this zone. And if it breaks this around 57,000, that's going to be a point where the level of resistance, which should be creating a level of supply and downward pressure, is not holding the price. There's more right now bulls than bears, which is obviously creating a upward push for the price. So in my opinion, the next major level of significance, because there is such a significant level of confluence with this zone, and then you get the middle zone, I think the price is going to come all the way to around 60K and above, in my personal opinion. Not much higher than where we're currently right now, but I think this reverse head and shoulders is going to play through, and then we're going to see like 62, 63 ish K, and that's going to be where we're going to be seeing potentially some hesitation, because this is a major wedge that we do need to understand is right here. And I think there's a lot of sell pressure because in a wedge, if you're going to be looking for, like if this was a massive push to the downside and you got this wedge and then you're seeing a break and a retest of the zone, that's going to be a little bit more bearish in my opinion. But because if we take a really long look back, it's super bullish, and now we're seeing this kind of hesitancy and a lack of momentum where we're seeing a little bit of consolidation, which in my opinion is not a bad thing. We can take a look back at it in a different video. So we see these nice dips and then these rallies that come after the dips. We are looking for contractions, and these are the types of structures that do really well in bullish markets when there's a lot of hesitancy. Is you get like the lull, which is the ascending wedge. You get a smackdown, which is a sell-off, and you're looking for an entry after the smackdown before the next bullish push. So I think we're kind of getting there. There could be a little bit of hesitancy. At a later point, we could see a high form right here, not go all the way, and then you see a little bit of a dip, and then you form a symmetrical triangle like we see here. So then it kind of dips and then kind of squeezes and then pushes to the upside. Definitely could be an option, but I do think that this is the low that we're going to be seeing, and we could kind of consolidate in between the 62, 64K to above the 52, but it would be great to see if we zoom out a little bit to the left like so. and then we can kind of talk about what could potentially play out here. So we saw this nice kind of arcing zone for BTC where we saw a very bullish push, but we're kind of arcing. Now I think we're going to see a smackdown, and then a lot of people are going to have weak hands. It's going to be a little bit of a bloodbath, which I think could be it right here. And then we're going to be seeing a little bit of a time where there's low volatility, and then you get your bullish push. So there's going to be that point where there's going to be a lot of fear when the weak hands are going to sell. There's going to be a point of low volatility when people are just not really knowing what's happening is at the end of the bull run, what's doing, and then before you know it, it's going to be bullish. It's going to be pushing up, and a lot of people are going to be sitting there waiting, wishing they got that entry a little bit earlier. So I think that's going to be the case. And as of right now, we do see the recovery. It would be potentially really good to see something like this where you're seeing a wind up. If you're able to understand that, that would be a really good situation for us to find ourselves in, or maybe something like this, that might be a little bit better. But that's option number 2. Option number 1 is if we just get the reverse head and shoulders right here, we kind of start trading in here, and then we'll look at what's happening within this zone to see what is our next option. Because if it is going to be breaking up, it's probably most likely, if it does get up to that zone and it's looking pretty bullish, it might be winding up something like this. And then it starts to move to the upside, where then we're going to be looking for opportunities within this area here. So as of right now, we are seeing a lot of buy pressure hold up the right shoulder and then break it above this major level of resistance at around 56,000. So that's great to see. But like always, we do want to understand that it's not just going to go straight up all the time. You know, from October into when this kind of started in mid to early February, let's say, it's basically just been going straight up. But at this point, we're seeing some hesitancy, and a lot of people don't have patience in the cryptocurrency market, and I think it's a little bit of a mistake. So hopefully you do recall and understand the reverse head and shoulders that we're seeing right here. Here is the left shoulder, here is the head, and we got our right shoulder right here. So in my opinion, we are going to be seeing a push to the upside, and that's why I think that this around 63, 64 zone could be the potential next level of resistance. But until then, I think we're going to be moving up really close to that range. Could be pulling back, and then, like I said, forming that symmetrical triangle. We've got to be prepared for that. But the overall bullishness is, in my opinion, coming into fruition after a long, drawn-out zone where a lot of people were somewhat bearish, pretty bearish, or thinking that the entire bull run is just completed. I definitely do not think that's the case. I think we could have one last little like spill, create a higher low, which would be great, and you're going to see that nice next rally. So that's going to be Bitcoin. Let's quickly look at the Bitcoin dominance chart here. Let's open that up. I don't need to see that. All right, and then we can go on to a smaller time frame just to see what's going on. And then obviously this chart speaks for itself. If you're not in alts, definitely a mistake. You should be in alts. Obviously Bitcoin is a good choice as a store of value. It is the king of crypto still, but we've passed the 50% mark for the BTC.D chart. Since around the 58 break, we've been just hollering, saying alts are going to the absolutely moon, and we've been seeing that. So not much more to add on to it. Hopefully you are well positioned in your favorite speculative alts, because they're probably doing better than Bitcoin right now. Not going to talk a whole lot on kind of the relative strength chart. We're going to jump right into the alts here. Let's just quickly keep that on Bitcoin. Awesome. And then we're going to be looking at some alts here. First thing we're going to be looking at is Ethereum. It does look like it is actually doing, in my opinion, going to be doing better than a lot of other alts. We can see if we zoom out here. Kind of a bit of an expanding zone. This isn't beautiful. This guy right here. Let's take that off. The lower one was a little bit better, and we saw this nice squeeze that we're seeing. Hopefully you're able to see it. Let's take a picture. We were talking about this zone right here, and we were bullish on Ethereum because of that as well. During this phase, this is where BTC was really pushing to the downside, and Ethereum was holding up very well compared to BTC. So you're in a bullish continuation pattern, the symmetrical triangle. Your target has just been hit right here, and you're trading in a range. Now, in my opinion, you'd look for a breakout. That's just me. But what you see within that range is a series of higher lows. So in reality, you're seeing a nice squeeze. So I'd say Ethereum is in a better position than BTC. One, just because of the price action, but two, also looking back to the BTC.D chart, we know that altcoins are going to be overperforming compared to BTC. So obviously with Ethereum being the second largest market cap, a lot of coins are actually on the Binance Smart Chain, which is kind of a competitor of this at this point. But I do still think that Ethereum has a lot to hold in terms of the value and in terms of the overall exposure. I think Ethereum is going to be the place that a lot of people are going to be entering in if it's not BTC, because liquidity issues, you got to have a certain amount of market cap if you are going to be entering certain amounts of capital, if you're going to be playing around with like the whales there. So that's going to be a quick look at the Ethereum chart. Overall, I do think it's bullish. I think it's just completed its target right here. So in my opinion, there are some better opportunities to look for some potential windups. Now, if it does break out and then kind of form, let's say something, let's see, like this, and then you get a little bit of a dip, because we could be expecting a little bit of a dip here for BTC, like we did say, but a nice little wind down and then a push up, that could be an option. But you're looking for this type of structure where you're seeing a lack of not momentum, but you're seeing a lack of a brand new high, right? You don't want to be entering at a brand new high. I'd rather enter something on a little bit of a pullback, which we can talk about, kind of like what we can see right here. Right, this is one that Nathan was talking about here. This is PancakeSwap's token. I do think that it's pretty bullish just because there are so many tokens on the Binance Smart Chain at this point. Let's bring that back. Major level of support being at around 30 bucks. We'll see if it gets there. I don't think it will. Moving on to the 12 hour, we do see a little bit of a pullback, and this is the kind of stuff that we're looking for. You don't want to enter on a brand new, we call it a nice green dildo, like right here. It just, to me, does not make sense. I'd rather wait for the pullback, a little bit of a hesitancy, and that's what we're seeing here on PancakeSwap compared to the USDT. Now, ideally, we would like to see kind of a lower high, and we'll look at that on a smaller time frame. But this major level of support, let's get our, this guy, the price chart. This is the one right here. Around $36. You are seeing a pullback to that level. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but if you are looking on the 1 hour, it does look pretty decent. This is a little bit aggressive because it's on the 1 hour. I think it might be a little bit better to look for something like this, where you're getting a lot of squeeze. It might dip it down a little bit more, and you're looking for this, and you're looking for that next big push. So I do think that PancakeSwap is a really good potential opportunity in the future. That around $36 is a really good level of support. We saw this major zone right here. Beautiful, nice ascending triangle, massive push to the upside. We're seeing 15, 16%, pretty phenomenal. I'm expecting this to be a longer term hold, just because we do see the, like I said, Binance Smart Chain, kind of like the shitcoin, I guess you can call it, boom, just increase in hype, and there's more now than ever. So I do think, because there's so many tokens that do need to have cake in order to buy whatever the token that they're looking for, this is going to be doing well. From a fundamental standpoint, as well as just a technical, I think that this is in a really good position. Now we're going to be looking on to a different coin here. Horizon, also really great looking opportunity. It's not at a brand new high. We see a nice ascending zone turn into a steeper ascending zone, which is really contracting the price. Let's go on to a smaller time frame. Around $140 is going to be the major level of resistance that we do want to see break. We see a major level of support hold the higher lows. We can get a little bit more ascending like so, if we think that that's going to be holding with a higher low right there. But this is looking phenomenal. I think Horizon's in a great spot for a potential breakout. You're not really buying that brand new high. Like, if you're buying this top after this massive move to the upside, you're basically buying the green dildo. But this has contracted. It is now squeezing, and I do think it's, after every squeeze, is going to be an impulsive push, and I do think that impulsive push is coming pretty soon here for Horizon, or Zen USDT. So that's going to be, in my opinion, a coin to look out for. Definitely have that on your radar. Cosmos, not going to talk about it a whole lot. Aave, not looking great, to be completely honest. I think there's some other coins that could be a better opportunity. Like we did say, one of the best ones is in my opinion, PancakeSwap, Horizon's a really good one as well. Uniswap is similar to PancakeSwap, except it uses Ethereum instead of the Binance Smart Chain. It's looking pretty good. It's just grinding up, creating a series of higher highs and higher lows. Now, if it did do something like this, where you're going to get a break, and then you're going to see some formation right here, that's going to be a great opportunity for potential continuation. So you're going to see a bullish push. You're going to see hesitation, but the hesitation's still trending up, and then you're going to get your next impulsive push. And I think that's potentially seeing something like that, and that's why I'm going to be keeping a pretty close eye on Uni. Also, Ethereum's doing well, so if you do believe in Ethereum, decentralized exchange of Ethereum would be on Uni, so this is something to keep an eye on if you own and enjoy the idea and understanding of Ethereum. I think this is a really good option there. The last one we're going to be looking at in this list here would be Chainlink. Not really going to talk a whole lot about Stellar. It doesn't look phenomenal to me. It's kind of looking weaker than most. It is holding that nice ascending trend line there, but nothing too exciting in my opinion. So this is going to be Chainlink. Hasn't been doing as well as it has previously because it was an absolute beast before. We do see very, very nice squeeze where we see a series of higher highs and then we see a series of higher lows. Let's make that a little bit cleaner. Not absolutely beautiful because we would be squeezing in there. Let's see if we can. No, it still wouldn't. So if we go like this and take these out, we can see that it is squeezing. Kind of similar to what BNB did. Hopefully do recall, and we'll check it out a little bit later. But BNB did something similar where it was squeezing, forming kind of an ascending wedge, and then once it broke the ascending wedge, it was just an absolute moonshot. You can see that right here. This is the ascending wedge. That's the zone right there, and then that's the zone right there. And when it broke above it, absolute moonshot, kind of like we saw right there. And I think that's going to be a better zone for us to work with. Kind of like that. We see the low. You see the low. There we go. And then once you broke above that series of higher highs, you just had a massive move to the upside. Now, there was some fundamentals with the Binance Smart Chain coming around in that same time as well, which was a huge catalyst. But in terms of the structure of the market, in my opinion, Link has been lagging behind at this point, but it does look like it is setting up for a very strong push to the upside. For how long the project has been around compared to others, I'm a little bit surprised that it's not as high as, like, let's say in the $100 range, $50 range, but it is still slowly chugging up, and I do think that next phase where it's going to appreciate at an increasingly greater rate is coming. So on the daily, nothing crazy. We see a big symmetrical triangle, and you see a smaller one right here that is currently just looking like it's breaking right now, which is great. And then you're seeing that nice pullback, validate, and hold as a nice level of support, similar to what we saw right here, like this zone right here. Right, break, retest, and then a strong push up. Break, retest, strong push up. So now we're getting into kind of that major zone. And if we start seeing it trend and consolidate here, and we see not a lot of sell pressure and a ton of buy pressure, that's going to be an opportunity where we could be seeing a strong impulsive push for Link. So in my opinion, that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out on. I don't think it's there just yet, but I think it's something that will be occurring in the future. Kind of similar to what we saw with Uni. A little bit of time before we start to look for opportunities. I think that Cake and Horizon are the best opportunities in the nearest term. But there's a lot of opportunities that do look pretty good. So that's going to be my view on those tokens. BNB, hopefully have been keeping track. In my opinion, this is one of the most bullish assets that has a lot of liquidity. If we take this off, this was just from this zone right here. We see a nice triangle, break to the upside. We're seeing another continuation pattern, another break to the upside, in my opinion. Binance Smart Chain is competing with things like Ethereum, like Polkadot, like Chainlink. It's pretty unbelievable. They're moving very, very quickly as a project and company, and obviously with the largest exchange behind them, a lot of individuals are purchasing BNB because you get a significant amount discounted for the fees that you have to pay if you actually pay in Binance Coin. And you could change all your small assets into BNB, so there's always, even though it's small, it's like entire world, they are having small amounts of different alts getting exchanged into BNB, which is just holding up their prices because there's always buyers entering in the market. So definitely, in my opinion, if you don't have any Binance Coin, would be a good opportunity. Binance Smart Chain is really taking over, and I do think that the Pancake swap with the Binance Coin is kind of a good combination for the current boom that we're seeing with the shitcoins and with so many different Binance Smart Chain tokens now available. I'm sure you've seen them. I think that yes, there are opportunities in the tokens, but the tokens network is the actual asset that I think would be the best opportunity that has the lowest amount of risk. So hopefully you did get something from it. We will end off the video with the US dollar. Not exactly just a understanding of like the US dollar's strength or weakness, because this is just comparing it to other fiat currencies. So you're not really seeing the value of the US dollar, you're just comparing it to other fiat currencies that are proliferating as well. So we do see we've been in a very bearish trend, which is great because that's more speculation. The overall stock market has been doing very well, which is greatly correlated with speculative overall hype environments in the altcoins. So great to see. I think that this is going to continue to the downside. The big question, hopefully everyone understands why this is so important, in that 88 zone is because we have that massive double top there. If we do break around 88, I think that we could be seeing another major fall in the US dollar relative to other fiat currencies. In my opinion, that would lead to further speculation. We'll see how it goes. There is talks of tax increases for individuals and corporates, so we'll see how that goes. That would be pretty negative for the overall stock market, which would then not be good for crypto. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, I think that we are still in a risk on sentiment. So don't worry about the dips, about anything else. In my opinion, we are still moving to the upside. And this is just a little bit of hesitation, market breath before our next leg higher. So thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you got education from it, or if you thought it was valuable, useful, entertaining, anything like that, it would be greatly appreciated if you give this video a thumbs up. If you made it this far, awesome, you're committed to learning, or you just like our content, either one, and we appreciate you tuning in. So until next time, have a good one, stay safe, and best of luck out there.